What does it take to truly walk away from one of the most powerful families in the world? Meghan Markle and Prince Harry once stood at the heart of the British monarchy. But this holiday season, their absence from Sandringham has sparked fresh questions about the deepening rift between the Sussexes and the royal family. Is this separation a bold declaration of independence, or an irreversible fracture in the House of Windsor? As the Sussexes craft their own holiday traditions in California, the world watches with a mix of fascination and judgment. For many, this exclusion isn't a shock. It feels like the inevitable result of years of tension, public criticism, and a growing divide. But what led to this icy decision? And why does it matter so much? Let's unpack the layers of this royal drama and what it means for the future of the family and the monarchy. The royal Christmas at Sandringham is a tradition steeped in formality and symbolism. It's a time when the Windsors gather away from the public eye to share meals, attend church, and reinforce their image as a united family. For years, Meghan and Harry were part of that ritual, walking hand in hand to St. Mary Magdalene Church on Christmas morning, smiling for the cameras as crowds lined the path. Those were simpler times, before explosive interviews, tell-all memoirs, and accusations of betrayal shattered the facade of unity. Now the idea of the Sussexes sharing the same table with King Charles and Prince William feels as unlikely as snow in July. According to insiders, the decision to exclude them wasn't taken lightly, but it reflects the frostiness of their current relationship with the royal family. Some see it as a natural consequence of their repeated criticisms of the monarchy, while others view it as a symbolic gesture, signaling a point of no return. At the heart of this drama lies a broader question. How does a family, especially one as public as the royals, navigate estrangement? Meghan and Harry's choice to step back from royal duties was framed as a desire for independence, but the reality has been far messier. Their infamous interview with Oprah Winfrey, where they accused unnamed royals of racism and neglect, marked a significant turning point. For the royal family, those accusations were not only damaging but also deeply personal. The Sussexes' subsequent projects, Harry's memoir Spare, their Netflix documentary, and countless public statements have only deepened the divide. This latest exclusion from Sandringham is a stark reminder of the consequences of those choices. For King Charles, who has spoken about his commitment to modernizing the monarchy, the decision might also reflect a need to protect the institution from further scandal. After all, a Christmas gathering with the Sussexes would inevitably attract media attention, shifting the narrative from festive unity to family dysfunction. As news of the ban broke, public reactions were predictably polarized. Supporters of Meghan and Harry argued that the royal family was being petty and vindictive, while critics suggested the Sussexes had brought this on themselves. Social media lit up with debates, some lamenting the breakdown of family ties, others celebrating what they saw as accountability for the couple's actions. It's a stark reflection of how deeply divided opinions about the Sussexes have become, with little room for nuance or middle ground. While the royal family has remained tight-lipped about the decision, Meghan recently addressed the holidays in an interview with Marie Claire. Her comments, though seemingly unrelated to the ban, offer a glimpse into her perspective. Meghan spoke warmly about community and the importance of making space at the table for friends who don't have family. On the surface, her words sound thoughtful and inclusive, but they also highlight a glaring irony. How can someone speak so eloquently about community while remaining estranged from her own father and sister? Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, lives just a short drive from Montecito, yet has never met his grandchildren. Her sister Samantha recently turned 60, a milestone celebrated in silence by Meghan. It's these contradictions that fuel much of the criticism against her. The Marie Claire interview also touched on how the holidays have changed for Meghan and Harry since becoming parents. With Archie and Lilibet now 3 and 5, Meghan described the joy of experiencing traditions through their eyes. She painted a picture of intimate, low-key celebrations at home, complete with games and music, a far cry from the formal grandeur of Sandringham. Yet, even in these personal anecdotes, the shadow of estrangement looms large. For many, the idea of celebrating the holidays without family is unthinkable. But for Meghan and Harry, it's become their new normal. These comments, coupled with their exclusion from Sandringham, have sparked renewed scrutiny of their relationship with the royal family. Critics argue that their actions over the past few years have made reconciliation nearly impossible. From public accusations to private tensions, the bridges that once connected them to the monarchy seem irreparably burned. For others, this separation represents freedom, a chance for the Sussexes to chart their own path without the constraints of royal tradition. Yet the ban from Sandringham raises important questions about the monarchy's own strategy. By excluding Meghan and Harry, the royal family risks appearing unforgiving or even vindictive, especially to younger generations who value transparency and emotional openness. On the other hand, inviting the Sussexes could have created a media circus, overshadowing the solemnity and significance of the royal Christmas. It's a delicate balance, one that reflects the challenges of navigating modern monarchy in a world where private matters are rarely kept private. This decision also underscores the changing dynamics within the royal family. King Charles, now head of the institution, must balance his roles as a father and monarch. While his duty to the crown may require tough decisions, the personal cost cannot be ignored. For Prince William, who has reportedly struggled to repair his relationship with Harry, the ban may feel like a necessary boundary. After all, how can trust be rebuilt when every interaction risks becoming fodder for the next Netflix series or memoir? In many ways, the Sussexes' story is a microcosm of broader societal shifts. Their decision to step back, their critique of traditional institutions, and their embrace of a more modern, independent identity resonate with many who question the relevance of monarchy in the 21st century. At the same time, their actions, whether seen as courageous or self-serving, have exposed the fragility of family bonds, especially when played out on a global stage. As the holiday season approaches, the contrast between Sandringham's festive traditions and the Sussexes' quiet celebrations in Montecito couldn't be starker. For the royal family, Christmas at Sandringham will likely proceed as usual, with carefully curated photo opportunities and a message of unity. For Meghan and Harry, it will be another chapter in their ongoing reinvention, one that continues to divide public opinion. With this backdrop, the stage is set for a deeper exploration of how Meghan and Harry navigate their estrangement from the royal family and what their exclusion from Sandringham says about the monarchy's future. After all, this isn't just a story about Christmas, it's about legacy, loyalty, and the complex interplay between tradition and change. The exclusion of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry from the royal family's Christmas celebrations is more than just a headline. It symbolizes a deeper rift that has been growing over years of public and private tension. While the royals prepare for their traditional holiday at Sandringham, the Sussexes have taken a different approach, focusing on their new lives in California. Meghan's recent comments in interviews about community and family paint a contrasting picture, one that seems at odds with the reality of their strained relationships. In her most recent public statements, Meghan reflected on the holidays with a tone that could easily be interpreted as hopeful or dismissive, depending on your perspective. She described her family's traditions in Montecito as low-key and intimate, emphasizing the joy of spending time with her children, Archie and Lilibet. For many, this vision of an idyllic family holiday feels relatable. But for critics, it raises questions about how much of her story is about fostering community versus building a carefully curated image. One particularly striking element of her statements is the repeated theme of creating space for those who lack family connections during the holidays. On the surface, this message resonates deeply with values of inclusion and empathy. Yet it also casts a shadow on her own fractured family ties. Meghan's estrangement from her father, Thomas Markle, and her half-sister, Samantha Markle, has been widely publicized, with neither being invited to her wedding to Prince Harry or having any meaningful presence in her life since. While estrangement is deeply personal and often complex, the contrast between her public messaging and private choices invites scrutiny. This narrative isn't entirely new. Meghan's approach to public relations has long focused on themes of resilience, independence, and forging new paths. From her days as an actress to her role as a duchess and now as a public figure and advocate, she has crafted a brand around empowerment and authenticity. However, critics argue that this carefully managed image often clashes with her actions, creating a sense of dissonance that fuels much of the backlash she faces. The public discourse around Meghan and Harry's holiday plans also highlights how deeply polarized opinions about them have become. On one side are their supporters, who view the couple as trailblazers challenging outdated traditions and carving out a modern life free from the constraints of the monarchy. On the other are their detractors, who see them as opportunists capitalizing on their royal connections, while simultaneously critiquing the institution they left behind. This divide is nowhere more apparent than in the reactions to their absence from Sandringham. Some see it as a justified exclusion, others as an unnecessary snub, and still others as a mutual decision blown out of proportion. For Meghan and Harry, this polarization isn't just a PR challenge. It's a fundamental aspect of their post-royal identity. Since stepping back from their official duties, they have embraced roles as public figures in their own right, signing lucrative deals with streaming platforms, giving high-profile interviews and advocating for social causes. But with this new independence has come increased scrutiny. Every statement they make, every project they launch, and every decision they take is analyzed through the lens of their royal past. The result is a media environment where they are simultaneously praised and criticized, often for the same actions. Their decision to celebrate the holidays privately in Montecito rather than returning to the UK is a prime example. To their fans, it represents a healthy boundary, a choice to prioritize their own happiness and family stability. To their critics, it's further proof of their alienation from the royal family and their unwillingness to reconcile. This dichotomy speaks to the broader challenges they face as public figures who are both deeply tied to and distanced from one of the world's most famous institutions. While Meghan's statements about the holidays may seem innocuous on the surface, they carry layers of meaning when viewed in the context of her and Harry's broader narrative. By emphasizing themes of community, family, and gratitude, she aligns herself with values that resonate with a wide audience. Yet the absence of her own family from this narrative raises questions about authenticity and accountability. For many, it's not enough to talk about building bridges with friends and neighbors if those closest to you remain estranged. This tension between public image and private reality is not unique to Meghan and Harry, but it is amplified by their status as former royals. The royal family's emphasis on tradition, duty, and unity stands in stark contrast to the Sussexes' focus on individuality, independence, and personal growth. These differing approaches to family and public life highlight the cultural and generational shifts that are shaping modern monarchy. While the Windsors strive to preserve their legacy through carefully managed continuity, the Sussexes are navigating a path that rejects many of the constraints associated with their former roles. As the holidays approach, the contrast between these two approaches becomes even more pronounced. Sandringham will be the site of time-honored rituals, from the Queen's Christmas speech to the family walk to church on Christmas morning. These events, steeped in symbolism, serve as a reminder of the monarchy's enduring presence. In Montecito, Meghan and Harry's celebration will likely be more private, centered around their children and their own traditions. This divergence is both a reflection of their choices and a symbol of the growing divide between them and the royal family. It's worth noting that this divide is not solely the result of the Sussexes' actions. The royal family's own approach to handling conflict has contributed to the rift. From the lack of public support for Meghan during her early days as a duchess, to the ongoing tensions over Harry's memoir and media appearances, the Windsors have often taken a stiff upper lip approach that leaves little room for reconciliation. This dynamic creates a cycle where grievances go unaddressed, further deepening the divide. The question then is whether this cycle can ever be broken. For Meghan and Harry, the choice to build a life outside the monarchy has come with both opportunities and challenges. They have gained the freedom to shape their own narrative, but they have also lost the support system that comes with being part of the royal institution. For the Windsors, the loss of the Sussexes represents a missed opportunity to modernize the monarchy and connect with a younger, more diverse audience. Rebuilding these bridges will require compromise and a willingness to engage in difficult conversations, both of which seem unlikely given the current state of affairs. As this story continues to unfold, it serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities of family relationships, particularly when they are played out on a global stage. The holidays, a time traditionally associated with togetherness and forgiveness, highlight these complexities in ways that are both deeply personal and highly public. For Meghan and Harry, this season will likely be a moment of reflection, a chance to consider what they've gained and what they've lost in their pursuit of independence. For the royal family, it's an opportunity to assess how they can adapt to the challenges of a rapidly changing world while preserving their legacy. In this context, the Sussexes' absence from Sandringham is not just about one holiday. It's about the broader shifts that are redefining what it means to be a part of the royal family in the 21st century. Whether this separation is temporary or permanent remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. The choices made by both sides will have lasting implications for years to come. As the narrative of Meghan and Harry's estrangement continues, the deeper implications of their choices and the royal family's response become increasingly significant. This is no longer just a matter of who gets to sit at the Christmas table. It's a tale of shifting allegiances, conflicting priorities, and a stark clash of identities that reflect broader societal changes. For the royal family, Christmas at Sandringham is more than just a festive gathering. It is a public reaffirmation of their unity and enduring tradition. For Meghan and Harry, however, the holidays represent an opportunity to redefine family on their own terms, away from the scrutiny of royal life. What's most striking about this ongoing saga is how it has transformed public perceptions of both the Sussexes and the royal family. Initially, Meghan and Harry's decision to step back from their royal duties was framed as a bold and necessary move to escape an environment they found oppressive. The couple's supporters hailed it as a modern-day act of liberation, a chance for two individuals to prioritize their well-being and family over institutional obligations. Yet, as time has passed, the narrative has become increasingly complex. For Harry, the transition has been particularly poignant. Once a beloved prince known for his relatability and charm, he now finds himself viewed in a much more divisive light. His critics argue that his departure from royal duties has eroded his once stellar reputation, painting him as a man disconnected from his heritage. Supporters, however, see a man who has finally taken control of his own destiny, willing to challenge traditions that no longer align with his values. This duality captures the essence of the Sussexes' public image, a blend of admiration and skepticism that mirrors broader societal debates about tradition and progress. For Meghan, the scrutiny has been relentless. Every word she says, every action she takes, is dissected and analyzed, often through the lens of her relationship with the royal family. Her recent comments about the holidays, while seemingly innocuous, have reignited conversations about her place in this narrative. Critics question the sincerity of her sentiments, pointing to the apparent contradictions between her public advocacy for community and her private estrangement from her own family. Supporters, on the other hand, argue that Meghan has been unfairly vilified, subjected to a level of scrutiny that few could endure. This dynamic extends beyond personal relationships. It speaks to the cultural and generational shifts that are reshaping not only the monarchy, but society at large. The royal family represents a long-standing institution rooted in tradition, while Meghan and Harry embody a more modern, independent approach to public life. Their departure from royal duties and subsequent actions reflect a broader rejection of rigid hierarchies and established norms, a stance that resonates with many, particularly younger audiences. Yet, this very independence has also made reconciliation more challenging. By stepping back, Meghan and Harry have effectively distanced themselves from the mechanisms that could facilitate dialogue and repair. Their decision to pursue public projects, ranging from their Netflix deal to Harry's memoir, has further complicated matters, as these endeavors often touch on sensitive topics that deepen the divide. For the royal family, the Sussexes' absence from Sandringham is not just a practical decision. It's a statement about the current state of their relationship. It's worth noting that the royal family's own approach to handling conflict has also played a role in this ongoing estrangement. The monarchy's traditional never complain, never explain philosophy has served them well in many respects, allowing them to maintain a sense of dignity and distance from public controversy. However, this same approach can come across as cold and unyielding, particularly in situations where more transparency and emotional openness might be beneficial. In the case of Meghan and Harry, the lack of public acknowledgement or support during their struggles has contributed to the perception of a family unwilling to adapt to changing circumstances. For many observers, this situation is emblematic of the challenges facing modern monarchy. On one hand, the royal family must preserve its traditions and values, which have been key to its longevity. On the other hand, it must also navigate a world that increasingly values authenticity, inclusivity, and emotional vulnerability. The Sussexes' departure and subsequent criticisms of the institution highlight the tension between these two imperatives, forcing the monarchy to confront questions about its relevance and role in contemporary society. Meanwhile, Meghan and Harry's approach to the holidays offers a stark contrast to the formality of Sandringham. In Montecito, their celebrations are likely to be intimate and informal, reflecting their desire for a simpler, more grounded lifestyle. Yet, even in this setting, the shadow of their estrangement looms large. While they may be physically distant from the royal family, their actions and statements ensure that they remain very much a part of the narrative. This duality, being both inside and outside the royal fold, is a defining feature of their current identity. As the public continues to watch this story unfold, one question looms large. What does the future hold for the Sussexes and their relationship with the royal family? For Meghan and Harry, the choice to prioritize their own happiness and independence has come with significant trade-offs. They have gained the freedom to chart their own path, but have also lost the stability and support that comes with being part of a larger institution. For the royal family, the Sussexes' departure represents a missed opportunity to modernize and connect with a younger, more diverse audience, a gap that will only become more apparent in the years to come. This isn't just a story about a Christmas gathering. It's about the broader implications of change and continuity, tradition and progress, unity and independence. The choices made by both sides will have lasting consequences, shaping not only their relationships but also the future of the monarchy itself. Whether reconciliation is possible remains an open question, but one thing is certain. The dynamics between Meghan, Harry, and the royal family will continue to captivate and divide public opinion for years to come. As the holidays draw closer, the contrast between the royal family's traditional celebrations and the Sussexes' modern approach serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities of family, identity, and legacy in the 21st century. While the royal family gathers at Sandringham to uphold traditions that have endured for generations, Meghan and Harry will be creating their own, separate from the institution that once defined them. This separation, while symbolic, also reflects the broader cultural shifts that are reshaping the way we think about family, duty, and individuality. The contrast between Meghan and Harry's California-based holiday plans and the traditional royal Christmas at Sandringham is more than a geographical divide. It underscores the cultural and personal shifts that have defined their journey since stepping back from royal duties. For the Sussexes, Montecito represents a fresh start, a place where they can build their own traditions, free from the constraints and expectations of royal life. For the royal family, Sandringham is a bastion of continuity, a setting where history and modernity coexist in a delicate balance. This year, their separation during the holidays speaks volumes about the enduring rift that neither side seems able or willing to fully bridge. Reports suggest that Meghan and Harry's Christmas will be a private, low-key affair with their children, Archie and Lilibet, and Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland. The image of a small, intimate celebration resonates with many who see the holidays as a time to focus on immediate family and cherished traditions. Meghan has spoken about the joy of creating new experiences for her children, describing the holidays as a time to see the world through their eyes. For many parents, this sentiment feels relatable, a reminder of the magic that children bring to the festive season. Yet, even in this idyllic vision, questions linger about the underlying tensions that have shaped their decision to remain apart from the royal family. While the Sussexes have framed their choice as one of independence and self-care, critics argue that it reflects a deeper unwillingness to confront the complexities of reconciliation. For some, their absence from Sandringham symbolizes a missed opportunity to begin healing the wounds that have fractured their relationships with the monarchy. This divide is particularly poignant when viewed through the lens of tradition. The royal family's Christmas at Sandringham is steeped in ritual, from the exchange of gag gifts on Christmas Eve to the formal walk to church on Christmas morning. These traditions, while seemingly trivial, carry significant weight for an institution that relies on continuity to maintain its relevance. For the Windsors, the holidays are a time to present a united front, a public affirmation of their commitment to family and duty. Meghan and Harry's absence disrupts this narrative, highlighting the cracks in the facade of unity. At the same time, their decision to chart their own path reflects a broader cultural shift. Increasingly, individuals and families are redefining what the holidays mean, moving away from rigid traditions in favor of more personal, meaningful celebrations. For the Sussexes, their Montecito Christmas is an opportunity to embrace this modern approach, focusing on what brings them joy rather than adhering to external expectations. In this sense, their holiday plans align with a growing movement toward authenticity and intentionality in how we celebrate. However, the question of authenticity is a complicated one for Meghan and Harry. As public figures, their actions are often scrutinized through the lens of their public image, leading to debates about their sincerity and motivations. Critics argue that their emphasis on privacy and independence is undermined by their frequent media appearances and lucrative deals with streaming platforms. Supporters counter that these endeavors are a necessary part of their efforts to establish themselves outside the royal institution. This tension between public perception and personal intent adds another layer of complexity to their holiday narrative. The media's role in shaping this narrative cannot be overlooked. Reports of Meghan and Harry's Christmas plans have been accompanied by a flurry of commentary, ranging from sympathetic portrayals of a young family seeking peace to harsh critiques of their estrangement from the royal fold. Headlines often frame their choices in binary terms, painting them as either victims or villains in an ongoing family drama. This polarization reflects the broader public discourse surrounding the Sussexes, where nuanced discussions are often overshadowed by sensationalism. Meanwhile, the royal family faces its own challenges in navigating this new dynamic. For King Charles, this will be his first Christmas as monarch, a moment laden with both personal and public significance. The absence of the Sussexes adds an additional layer of complexity, as it forces the family to address, implicitly or explicitly, the reality of their strained relationships. While the royal family is likely to maintain its tradition of avoiding public commentary on private matters, their interactions, or lack thereof, with Meghan and Harry will inevitably be interpreted as a reflection of their stance on the Sussexes' departure. For Prince William and Kate, the situation is equally fraught. As the future king and queen, their relationship with Harry carries significant implications for the monarchy's long-term stability. Reports of tension between the brothers have been a recurring theme in media coverage, with many viewing their estrangement as emblematic of the broader challenges facing the royal family. William's role as a mediator is complicated by his own responsibilities and the delicate balance of personal and institutional priorities. In Montecito, Meghan and Harry are likely to spend their holiday shielded from these pressures, focusing on their children and creating their own traditions. Yet, even in this private setting, the shadow of their royal connections is difficult to escape. Their choice to celebrate away from the royal family is as much a statement of their independence as it is a reflection of the challenges that have defined their journey. It is a reminder that even in moments of joy and togetherness, the complexities of their past remain ever present. This year's holiday season serves as a microcosm of the broader tensions between Meghan and Harry and the royal family. On one side is an institution rooted in tradition, grappling with the challenges of modernity and the demands of a changing world. On the other is a couple seeking to redefine their lives on their own terms, navigating the complexities of public life while striving for personal fulfillment. Their separation during the holidays is not just a matter of logistics. It is a reflection of the broader cultural and generational shifts that are reshaping the way we think about family, duty, and identity. As the Sussexes celebrate in California and the royal family gathers at Sandringham, the physical distance between them is symbolic of the emotional and ideological divides that have come to define their relationship. Whether this separation represents a temporary phase or a permanent reality remains to be seen. For now, it underscores the complexities of balancing tradition and independence, unity and individuality, in a world where the lines between private life and public image are increasingly blurred. As the dust settles on yet another chapter in the evolving story of Meghan and Harry's separation from the royal family, it's clear that this holiday season is more than just a momentary divergence. It's a reflection of the deeper fractures in their relationship with the monarchy and the choices that have led them to this point. While the immediate focus remains on their absence from Sandringham, the implications stretch far beyond Christmas dinner, touching on questions of legacy, identity, and the future of both the Sussexes and the royal family as a whole. For the monarchy, this year's Christmas gathering is an opportunity to reinforce its image of resilience and unity in the face of unprecedented challenges. King Charles, in his first holiday season as monarch, is stepping into a role that requires him to balance tradition with the evolving expectations of a modern public. His mother, Queen Elizabeth II, presided over decades of Christmas celebrations at Sandringham, each one a carefully curated event designed to showcase the royal family's enduring presence. For Charles, the absence of the Sussexes adds a layer of complexity to what is already a moment of transition. It is not just a matter of personal estrangement, but a symbol of the monarchy's broader struggle to adapt to a rapidly changing world. The exclusion or self-imposed absence of Harry and Meghan from Sandringham also raises questions about the long-term dynamics within the royal family. As the younger generation increasingly takes on more prominent roles, the absence of one of its most charismatic members is notable. Harry, once celebrated for his relatability and modern approach to royal duties, is now firmly on the outside looking in. His absence is not just a loss for the family, but also for an institution that has historically relied on the charm and appeal of its younger members to stay relevant. Yet, for all the challenges their departure has posed to the royal family, it's worth considering what Meghan and Harry have gained and lost in their pursuit of independence. In California, they have built a life that reflects their values and priorities, focusing on family, philanthropy, and creative ventures. Their holiday celebrations, described as intimate and centered around their children, represent a break from the formality and scrutiny of royal life. It's a vision of family that feels deeply personal and, for many, refreshingly relatable. But this independence has come at a cost. The Sussexes' distance from the royal family is not just physical but emotional, and the longer this estrangement continues, the harder it will be to repair. Trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild, particularly when both sides feel justified in their actions. For Meghan and Harry, the choice to speak openly about their experiences has been both empowering and polarizing, earning them admiration from some quarters and criticism from others. For the royal family, the decision to remain silent in the face of these revelations reflects a commitment to their never complain, never explain ethos, but also leaves them vulnerable to accusations of coldness and rigidity. Public perception of this ongoing rift is equally divided. Supporters of the Sussexes argue that they have been unfairly targeted, subjected to relentless scrutiny and held to impossible standards. Critics, on the other hand, see their actions as self-serving, pointing to their lucrative media deals and public statements as evidence of a desire to capitalize on their royal connections while simultaneously distancing themselves from the institution. This polarization highlights the broader challenges of navigating public life in an era where every action is subject to intense scrutiny and debate. What's particularly striking about this situation is how it reflects the evolving role of family in the public eye. For generations, the royal family has been held up as a model of unity and continuity, a symbol of stability in an ever-changing world. Yet the reality of family dynamics is far more complex, and the Sussexes' departure has forced the monarchy to confront these complexities in a very public way. At the same time, Meghan and Harry's story resonates with many who see themselves in their struggles, whether it's navigating difficult family relationships or balancing personal values with external expectations. As the royal family gathers at Sandringham, the absence of Meghan and Harry serves as a reminder of what has been lost, but also of what might still be possible. Reconciliation, while difficult, is not beyond reach. It will require effort, understanding, and a willingness to engage in meaningful dialogue from both sides. For King Charles, this moment represents an opportunity to demonstrate the kind of leadership that can bridge divides and foster healing. For the Sussexes, it's a chance to reflect on what they want their legacy to be and how they can move forward in a way that aligns with their values while honoring their ties to the family they have left behind. Ultimately, this story is about more than just one family. It's about the ways in which tradition and modernity collide, the challenges of navigating identity in the public eye, and the enduring complexities of human relationships. The choices made by Meghan, Harry, and the royal family in the coming months and years will shape not only their own futures, but also the future of the monarchy itself. As the holiday season comes to a close, the contrasts between the Sussexes' celebrations in Montecito and the royal family's traditions at Sandringham will remain a poignant symbol of the paths they have chosen. Whether those paths will one day converge again is uncertain, but for now, they serve as a reminder that even the most public of families face the same struggles as anyone else, only magnified on a global scale. In the end, the story of Meghan and Harry's estrangement is not just about division. It's about the possibility of finding common ground and the hope that perhaps one day those bridges can be rebuilt. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.